Hello, lovelies. This is Lynn. I am happy to be with you today. I wanted to take a look at this a little bit further with a reading to see whether these three manosphere personalities are going to assist in bringing down 45. She's here. So let me go off screen for a moment and bring up the cards a little bit so you can see better. Okay, I'm using the predictions deck by Trishe Jaimes. And so to quickly get into this and see where we're going. So first off, this is an explosive situation. Somebody doesn't want all of this to happen. And he's feeling very much like it's a surprise attack. He doesn't understand why these three are turning against him. And frankly, I just did a reading on Dan Bongino about his role as a deputy director of the FBI and his clash with Pam Bondi, and whether he might be the one to leak um, the Epstein files. And if that reading is accurate, yes, he will. But between those four, 45 thought that they were going to be very loyal to him, and he's feeling very surprised that they're not. I'm surprised he thinks that anybody's ever going to be loyal to him, because he does not show loyalty to anybody else. Ultimately, they are going to be the uprising and the rebellion. They're going to lead the way among MAGA, and that means 45 is on a sinking ship. And they're going to keep at it until he's out of office for the betterment of the entire world. And they see this. They know that his wanting to hide the Epstein files and govern the way he is with the tariffs, they see what he's doing, and I think they've finally woken up themselves. Okay. So I'm now using the Stardust Shadows Tarot Oracle card set from Trishe Jaimes again. I love her cards. I don't know if you know that about me yet, but if you're new here, I love her cards and I use them often. All right, so I asked this round, what's behind this shift? And my guess is that knowing that Dan Bongino was his personality and how he interacts and probably is in the same circles as these three other guys, I think that there's a major connection to all of this happening at once. So, what I'm pulling up here is that they're aware that there's deception happening, and that there's a lot more to it than what we're getting, which pretty obvious. There's a web of lies, that there's a huge factor of interconnectedness that is hard to, maybe for you and I to grasp how big this web is. Um, I'm fairly certain that, the Epstein files is a worldwide transnational organizational crime for entertainment purposes only, and everything here is alleged, as a reminder. So those connections are what's going to bring everybody down. And it's a form of dominance. Let me bring those cards up. The connections and dominance is the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is also a card of swift actions, strategic planning. I feel like this whole circle of crime Wow. As I'm sitting here reading on this, I'm getting the very strong sense that there are some really powerful people who have planned layer over layer over layer of how to hide what all has occurred over the many years. And I don't feel like this is just a couple of decades. I feel like this is generations. Like it's handed down from one generation to another generation to another generation. Oof. And it's just morphed. Oh my God, this goes back to slavery, allegedly. Uh, wow. Okay, I'm going to move on and stick with my reading. But let me tell you, I have the goosies and my stomach is turning. So all of this is connected, as I said, generations over generations. And they simply took the methods from slavery and applied them differently. Wow. Anyway, these men are turning on 45 because they don't want to be bound up into it. They don't want to be tied to him any further, so they're distancing themselves. Um, they should be aware that they're treading in dangerous territory, though. Like, I, how do I say this carefully? Carefully, that's how I say this. Allegedly, and for entertainment purposes only, the felon in the White House is uses mob tactics, and there's a lot of tactics, there's a lot of methods in those tactics that can bring about the downfall of an enemy. How's that for being very carefully worded? All right, and they should be careful because it could be a targeted attack against them. That said, they're also targeting their attacks against others. And so while this is a very dangerous situation, everybody, everybody in the whole situation needs to know that they could be in that equally in dangerous situation. These guys' goal is to see a transfer of power. They lifted 45, the felon, into the White House this time around, and possibly last time. I don't know. I haven't followed them. But they did help lift him, and now they're going to help take him down. Which leads me to say they'd better be careful because this is a dangerous, dangerous situation. This is not a game. This is a lot of power, and a lot of people will be very, very angry that this is going on. Okay, that is my reading, and I appreciate your staying till the end. I hope you have a great day. Take care. By the way, you are made of stardust and magic. You're far more powerful than you realize, and you are profoundly loved. All right, take care.